Top 10 meals you can try in Stockholm in 48 hours. Hello guys, welcome to FoodBlitz. Even though the Swedes have some quite strange food to offer, there are some dishes you just have to give a chance. New Nordic and modern Swedish cuisine has been making waves in recent years, so why not discover some of the kitchen favorites while visiting the country's capital? Book a table in a cozy little restaurant and discover how skilled chefs have been taking these dishes to whole new heights. Some of the dishes are very much local specialties, so you might be best advised to visit the place in question to sample certain classics. But the journey will be well worth it. Or at least we think so anyway. So join us as we take you on a journey through the top 10 meals you can try in Stockholm in 48 hours. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell for more updates like this. Number 10. Smorgastarta is a unique Swedish phenomenon which in the days gone was an absolute must at larger gatherings. Sandwich cakes are both easy to organize beforehand and superb thanks to impressing guests with lavish layers and tasteful garnishes. A Swedish sandwich cake is far from just a bread layered with creamy fillings like seafood or meat. It is a majestic piece of art decorated with vegetables and eggs, rolls of cheese, smoked meats, or beef roast. Strategically positioned sprigs of dill and an array of colors. To sample some sandwich cake in Stockholm, try one among the picturesque little cafes within the fairy tale neighborhood of Gamla stan. Number 9. Swedish potato dumpling. They say every culture has its dumpling in Sweden, not any exception. This northern delicacy is a filling staple made primarily from pork and potato. Raw potatoes are mashed or shredded and mixed with flour to make dough, which is then shaped into a ball around a delicious pork filling. The entire thing is then boiled in salt water and served with some butter and lingonberry jam. A great place to sample these delightful dumplings in Stockholm is restaurant Knut on Upplandsgatan, which is understood for its cuisine from the northern region of Norrland, from which this dumpling originates. Number 8. Swedish hash. Pitta Panna is a hash-like dish that was originally invented as convenient thanks to spending the week's leftovers. It consists of diced potatoes mixed with coarsely chopped onion and little pieces of meat from earlier meals. Bacon and meatballs both go great if you could get some. Add addition a few pickled beetroots and suddenly you've got a whole meal on your hands. Once a homemade hodgepodge, Pitta Panna is now a well-liked lunch option at restaurants specializing in Swedish cuisine. Drop in the Kvarnen restaurant on the island of Södermalm to sample this Swedish kitchen classic while in Stockholm. Number 7. Krkakor. Krkakor is essentially big, hearty potato dumplings, and there are an excellent many versions of them everywhere in the country. They even have different names, depending on where in Sweden they're being served. In the south, they're called Krkakor, but in the north, they call them pulp. To make these delicious dumplings, mix potatoes and flour. Then wrap the dough around some fried pork. You can use either boiled or raw potatoes. If you employ boiled potatoes, the Cropkor are going to be white, and if you employ raw potatoes, they'll be gray. They're ordinarily served with melted butter, cream cheese, milk, lingonberry sauce, and white sauce. Krkakor tends to be related to the island of Öland, but this heavy delicacy is not any less popular within the city of Kalmar on the opposite side of the bridge. During the 19th century, students from Öland prepared Krkakor, while students at Lund University's Kalmar have been organizing Krkakor parties since 1897. Today, the tradition lives on in an annual party celebrating the year's biggest Krkakor or pult. The principle is the same. Number 6. Burger patties with onion sauce. Swedish burger patties, panbiff, are closely associated with an entire host of comparable dishes from all across Northern Europe, but that doesn't make them any smaller within the planet of classic Swedish cuisine. In Sweden, beef or pork, or a mix of the two, is mixed with breadcrumbs and milk to make a little and compact patty. The normal onion sauce is an important accompaniment and is made by adding fried onion and cream to a classic roux. Panbiff is a simple dish and a well-liked weekday dinner in Swedish homes all across the country. You'll also find it on the menu at lunchtime in many restaurants. Just do not forget the lingonberry jam. Number 5. Pickled herring. Pickled herring is a real Swedish classic, dating back to times when preserving was done to make produce last through the winter months. The art of preserving produce is some things that have become a solid part of the Swedish food tradition. Herring is a crucial part of all three major celebrations in Sweden: Christmas, Easter, and in fact, Midsummer. Pickled herring is especially related to Midsummer, but the Swedes also eat this traditional dish for Christmas and Easter. Why change a winning recipe? Over the years, many exciting and rather less appetizing sorts of herring have appeared. What would you tell ginger and chili, or how about apple, celery, and fireball? The pickling juice utilized in the preservation process is usually made using strong vinegar, water, salt, and various spices. Typical varieties include onion herring, mustard herring, and soused herring. But regardless of what quite a herring is on the menu, it'll generally be served with boiled potatoes, Gradfill sour cream, and finely chopped chives. Number 4. Pea soup and pancakes. Pea soup and pancakes are classic dishes traditionally eaten on Thursdays. This classic dish has a long and interesting history. The rationale for this is that the country's once Catholic population needed a hearty meal before Friday's fast. Swedes have been enjoying this classic soup since the 13th century, although the addition of pancakes came later. Typically, the dish is comprised of yellow peas, pork broth, onions, and spices like thyme. The soup is served with a choice of mustard, and therefore the meal is rounded off with pancakes and jam. You can pick it up in cans and cartons from the local grocery, or await it on daily lunch menus across town, particularly on Thursdays. Number 3. Fried herring. Herring is usually the primary thing that involves the mind once we consider Swedish cuisine, and surely it is a common feature at Christmas, Easter, and midsummer celebrations. Fried herring has ended up in pickled herring's tall shadow, but it's nevertheless a delicacy. Unlike the pickled variety, fried herring tastes lighter on the tongue. The flavors are enhanced by melted butter, and it's served, of course, with boiled potatoes, mashed potatoes, and green peas, and sometimes with a dollop of lingonberry sauce. This is often a fresh and healthy dish that fish lovers will enjoy. Traditionally, it's often fried in butter, but not before being tossed in flour to make a wonderful crispness on the surface. Fried herring is a quick dish to organize and a well-liked street food item within the Swedish capital. Number 2. Falu sausage. Falu sausage is so Swedish that the name has been protected, first within Sweden and later across the EU. The Krkakor sausage served today dates back to the 1800s, but its origins are often traced right back to the 16th century, when the Falu mine used ox and horse skin to make strong ropes to lift the raw copper ore. The meat was a byproduct that was simply salted and smoked initially. It wasn't until the Germans came to the mine that the Swedes learned to turn the fine smoked beef into a sausage. There are countless ways to serve this hulking horseshoe sausage, but stuffed and baked within the oven is the classic way. Today, Krkakor is formed from beef and pork, and it's a firm favorite among children of all ages. Boil it, fry it, roast it in cream, or grill it. Your choice. Incisions are cut within the sausage and packed full of onion, tomato, mustard, and cheese. We recommend serving it with boiled or mashed potatoes, creamy macaroni, or rice. Yum! It could hardly be easier, but do not be deceived. This traditional Swedish sausage is packed with flavor and makes for the right, warming dinner on a chilly northerly night. Krkakor and macaroni slow cooked during a white sauce are very fashionable in families with children. Number 1. Swedish stew. Kalops is a very old Swedish dish, an upscale stew of slow-cooked beef with onions, black pepper, and herb for flavor. Add a couple of carrots and the dish will resemble a classic French boeuf bourguignon, but the fact of the matter is that kalops is even older than its famous French cousin. This is a meat stew that's ideal for cooler autumn and winter days. This slow-cooking dish is seasoned with typical Swedish spices, pimento or allspice, and bay leaves, which have characteristic flavors. Kalops with boiled potatoes and pickled beetroots is a common lunch option at restaurants all across Stockholm. But the dish is additionally easy to make, so it is the perfect meal to cook and accompanied by a glass of wine. And there you have it, guys. Make sure to get your taste buds ready while on your trip to Stockholm and get to experience different meals in just 48 hours that will leave you wanting to come back many times over for its delicacies and cuisines. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to get more videos like this from us. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.